This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
You know, a couple years back when the NFL was having its issues with concussions, I was one of those guys that was thinking, hey, man, this concussion thing is going to hurt the NFL. And so far, it doesn't look like it has. I'm sure some young people aren't playing football, their parents aren't letting them, and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure that's changed a little bit, but it hasn't hurt. And then you've got the pandemic, right, going on. Then you've got Cuban in the NBA talking about, Cuban said back, he predicted eight years ago that the greedy NFL would implode within a decade, quipping, pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. Well, the greed is good, as Gordon Gekko would say, for those of you that know the Wall Street movie, because the NFL, man, it's 365 days a year. The NFL didn't generate an estimated $18 billion in gross revenue last year by respecting boundaries or anything else along those lines. They crossed everything. They've crossed over into Christmas Day. They will do whatever they have to do. They're going to platforms, all of that stuff. And most of their games are still on free television. Okay? So they're still doing all of this by still doing the right things and giving people the games free at night, free on regular television. So while Cuban was thinking that the NFL would suffer, and by the way, me too, I thought a little bit, the concussion thing a couple of years ago, I thought that was going to hurt them too. Well, NFL TV audiences at that time were dropping 8 to 10% respectively during the 16 and 17 seasons. Since then, the NFL's already enormous TV numbers has headed north. During the 2021 season, the average game audience rose 10% to 17.1 million, the highest average in 6 years. The NFL fans, 370 billion total minutes of content in 2021, up 18% from last year. NFL games accounted for 48 of the 50 most watched telecasts. Let me say that again. NFL games accounted for 48 of the 50 most watched telecasts. Telecasts. That's anything. Movies, shows, you name it. Telethons. I don't care what it is. Football owned 48 of 50. I'm kind of intrigued to find out what are the two that made it in the 50 outside of football games. Sunday Night Football has reigned as Primetime's number one TV show for a record 11 straight years. Oh, by the way, what happened to you silly gooses? Oh, I'm not watching the NFL anymore. They're kneeling during my football game. You're all watching again. And you're all watching in record numbers. And by the way, your foolishness on the kneeling, that happened in pregame. That never happened during the game. They weren't doing it during the first quarter or the second quarter. They weren't doing it in the third quarter. They weren't doing it in the fourth quarter. They weren't doing it in overtime. I've never seen a bigger overreaction than the silliness of some of you out there that were bothering yourselves because of kneeling. And then the dumbest argument that you would come up with, oh, I don't want it during my game. It wasn't during your game, asswipe. It was in pregame. That's when the national anthem's played. It's not played during the game, idiot. And by the way, you ran your mouth, tough guy, tough girl, and you folded like a cheap tent, and you came right back because you love football. So stop talking crap. You're all watching the game again. Oh, I'm not watching anymore because they're kneeling during my football game. Bunch of liars. So, it ain't kneeling. It ain't a pandemic. It ain't Mark Cuban. It ain't concussions. Nothing is stopping the NFL from absolutely dominating. You can have controversies. You can have crime against women. Nothing stops the NFL. It is as Teflon as it gets. So there you go. Sunday night TV is rubbish overall. Yeah, well, but it's number one. Number one rubbish, my brother. That's all that matters, really. Whether you like the game or not, it doesn't really matter. Excuse me. That, my friends, is your KSDT Sports Business Report. And don't forget, you can call my friends at KSDT at 305-670-3370. Forensic accounting and business valuation, management advisory services, healthcare advisory, property management, wealth management. It's not just about the taxes personally or for your business. They do so much to help your business grow, to help sell your business, to buy a business. There are so many different, they can help you with payroll. They can help you in so many different ways. KSDT CPAs, offices in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties. Tell them that Big O sent you. They will take care of you, man. I promise you. 305-670-3370.
This is the Big O Show.